Pretty epic, huh? I bet you weren't expecting that last chord. You were deceived. Normally, we expect the 5 chord to lead to 1 at the end of a phrase, but instead we landed on 6. That's called a deceptive cadence, and it's one of composers' favorite tricks. And the best part? It's really easy to part right. Let's quickly recap a perfect authentic cadence. We'll start in a minor key this time. In a PAC, the bass leaps from 5 to 1, 2 upper voices resolve 2 to 1 and 7 to 1, and the last voice moves from 4 to 3 if we're using a 5/7 chord. Or if we're using a 5 triad, it moves from 5 to 3. Now, here's where the deceptive cadence changes things. All of that voice leading, it stays the same except for the bass. Instead of going from 5 to 1, the bass is going to move to 6. Those final 1 chords are now 6 chords. C minor became an A flat major chord. Why does that work? Because 1 and 6 share 2 notes in common, scale degrees 1 and 3. And those are the notes that the upper voices are on. Only one voice, the bass, changes, but it changes the whole effect. It's a special moment. It sounds particularly grandiose in minor keys because we have 2 major chords just a half step away, which is a sound we don't normally hear elsewhere in tonal music. Now let's hear the same shapes in a major key. The effect is totally different because now we're moving from a major chord up a whole step to a minor chord, which isn't as shocking, but it's unexpected in a different way. What's cool about this is in a major key, we're expecting a PAC to land on a major 1 chord, but we get a minor 6 chord instead. And in a minor key, we're expecting a minor 1 chord, but we get a major 6 chord. The 6 chord always has the opposite quality of the tonic, so not only is the chord different, it's the opposite quality that we're expecting to hear. Let's go back to how these chords actually connect. Look at the voicing of the 6 chord. It has 1 root, 1/5, and 2/3. What's up with that? Like I've said in previous videos, these chord connections weren't invented in a lab, like trying to smash 2 specific chords together. They came from composers harmonizing melodies in different ways. In this case, trying to harmonize a melody moving 2 to 1 or 7 to 1. They weren't trying to build a textbook 6 chord with 2 roots, 1/3, and 1/5. They were trying to create a special effect, letting all of the voices move as if it were a PAC, but then switching the bass at the last second. The fact that only the bass changes is what makes it so effective. A lot of students will try to double the root of the 6 chord, which means taking the leading tone, scale degree 7, down to 6 instead of up to 1. But that defeats the whole purpose. We want the upper voices to resolve like a PAC so that the bass's motion to 6 feels unexpected and exciting. Now, is 7 to 6 always wrong? Not necessarily. In major keys, that resolution is just less characteristic of this idiom. But in minor keys, it actually is a mistake because going from the leading tone to 6 is an augmented second, and that's a big voice leading no-no. So, why do composers like to use a deceptive cadence? Because it sets up a strong closing gesture, then denies it. That unresolved feeling demands a new phrase to give us real resolution. Once you get this sound in your ear, you'll hear it all over the place. And if you're taking AP Music Theory, this is one of the 6 cadences you need to know. You'll see it as an option for the last 2 chords in the part writing and harmonic dictation exercises. And when you have to harmonize a melody, it's a great option when a phrase ends with scale degrees 2 to 1 or 7 to 1 before the final cadence. Just pair it with 5 to 6 in the bass, and it works. So remember, the deceptive cadence works by just changing 1 note of a PAC. The bass ends on scale degree 6 instead of 1. That simple change creates surprise and momentum. It's a clever move that composers have been using for centuries. Use it when you want to delay resolution and keep the music moving. Just don't forget to resolve your upper voices like a PAC and let the bass do the trickery. And hey, this is the 18th episode of the Chord by Chord series, which is about halfway through the main set of chords that we're going to cover. If you find these videos helpful, please consider supporting me via my Patreon page, which has study guides and worksheets to accompany all my videos. And if you're a music theory student or teacher, they'll really help you get through the year. Check it out in the link in the description, and as always, see you next time on Dr. Fromm's Music Lab.